The alarm goes off, and the first thing I feel isn't wakefulness, it's debt. My body jerks like I'm already late. Even on days when my calendar is almost empty, I wake with a pressure in my chest, as if I've fallen behind before I've even started. I grab my phone before I grab my breath. The screen lights up with emails, news alerts, group chats that moved on without me. None of it is urgent, none of it is personal. And yet, the silence of not being wanted feels heavier than the noise of being demanded. I walk to the kitchen. The mug is there, same as always. I pour coffee into it, watch the steam rise, and then I walk away. I don't drink it. I never do, not at first. I tell myself I'll sip once I've replied to a few messages, once I've straightened out the chaos in my inbox. By the time I return, the steam is gone. The coffee tastes sharp, bitter, a daily ritual of letting things go cold. Sometimes I wonder if it's the coffee I neglect, or myself. People love to say, win the morning, win the day. But what if you lose the morning on purpose? What if every day begins with proof that you're not disciplined enough, not early enough, not strong enough? I don't think my mornings fail because I'm lazy. I think they fail because I've mistaken rushing for living, because I wake up trying to prove something instead of simply waking up. When I was younger, mornings didn't feel like exams. I'd eat cereal straight from the box, socks mismatched, headphones blasting songs I didn't even know the lyrics to. I'd walk to school, half dreaming, stopping to tie my shoes, without worrying about the time. Mornings felt like open doors. Now, they feel like locked gates, testing whether I'm worthy enough to pass through. I've tried everything people suggest: 5 a.m. challenges, perfectly structured journals, meditation apps that promised peace in 7 minutes. Each one felt like another checkbox, another performance, another way to fail quietly. The truth is, the more I tried to perfect my mornings, the less alive they felt. So now, most days I start in fragments. Phone in hand, scrolling through news that doesn't change my life. Pouring coffee I don't drink. Checking emails before I've even checked in with myself. And the shame of it follows me like a second shadow. It's not the spilled coffee or the unanswered texts that hurt. It's the small whisper. If you can't even start right, what makes you think you'll ever be right? There was one morning I can't forget. A Tuesday, nothing special. I sat at the table with the laptop open. The mug beside me still full, untouched. Outside, the street was quiet, soft with light. Inside, I was vibrating. I typed an email, erased it, typed again, refreshed the inbox. Nothing. By the time I finally lifted the mug, the coffee was ice cold. And for some reason, it broke me. Because in that moment, I realized if I can't even drink my coffee while it's warm, what else in my life am I letting go cold? That thought has stayed with me. I try not to admit it, but it comes back every morning. Maybe the real wound isn't in the rushing. Maybe it's in the silence I'm too afraid to sit with. Because when I actually pause, when I let myself stop, it doesn't feel like peace. It feels like waiting for something I can't name, waiting for someone to text first, waiting for the noise to tell me who I am, waiting for permission to simply breathe without guilt. And that's the part I can't laugh away. The coffee goes cold every morning, and I can't decide if it's just bad habit or a mirror of me. Always pouring, never tasting, always starting, never arriving. I look at the mug again. Steam gone. Same as yesterday. Same as tomorrow, if nothing changes. And maybe that's what scares me most, not the rush itself, but how normal it's become. Because if this is what normal looks like, what part of me is disappearing before the day even begins? Some wounds don't bleed. They brew, slowly, quietly, like coffee forgotten on the counter. Every morning I tell myself I'll do better, and every morning I find myself scrolling before I stand. Not because I care about what's on the screen, but because silence feels heavier than noise. I pour coffee while the inbox loads. Sip nothing. Taste nothing. By the time I remember it, it's cold. I drink anyway because I don't know what else to do. Caffeinating my panic before I've even tasted calm. I plan routines like they're lifeboats. Journaling at 6, breathwork at 6:15, breakfast by 6:30. I imagine myself becoming the kind of person who glows before noon. But by Wednesday, the plan has collapsed. I'm back in bed, doom scrolling, telling myself I'll try again Monday. Shame follows me everywhere, not loud, not sharp. Just a quiet hiss. You're failing at life's simplest task. And the worst part? The wounds are small, invisible, but they cut every day. 1. Scrolling before standing. You grab your phone before your breath. 10 minutes, then 20. It feels harmless. But the truth is, you're letting strangers' noise set the tone of your soul before you even remember your own name. The day hasn't started, yet you've already disappeared inside a screen. 2. Coffee. While emails load, you pour warmth into the mug but don't taste it. You wait for the inbox to tell you who you are. By the time you return, the coffee is cold, bitter, a mirror of the way you postpone yourself until life no longer tastes alive. 3. Perfect routines that collapse. You design them like equations, every minute accounted for. And when you fail once, the shame feels heavier than the plan itself. It's not the broken routine that hurts. It's the voice that says, "See, you'll never change." 4. Calling it productivity. You answer messages while brushing your teeth. Scroll news while eating breakfast. You tell yourself you're efficient. But really, you're scared of silence. You keep stacking tasks because if you stop, even for a moment, you might hear the truth whisper back. I'm tired. I'm lost. I miss myself. It's not just the actions, it's what they mean. The scrolling says, I'm avoiding myself. The cold coffee says, I'm postponing life. The failed routines say, I don't trust myself to change, and I can't unhear it. There are mornings I wake up already numb. I stare at the wall, phone buzzing beside me. 10 minutes pass, then 20. By the time I get up, the day has already claimed me. And all I did was lie there, fighting ghosts no one else could see. Other mornings, I perform. I tell myself I'm productive, answering emails at 7 a.m., typing replies while brushing my teeth, multitasking like it's a badge of honor. But underneath, I know, I'm not being efficient. I'm being afraid. Afraid of what silence might tell me if I stopped filling it with motion. Maybe that's why mornings feel dangerous. They expose me. Before the world distracts me, I can see who I really am. Tired, scattered, ashamed. And I hate it. So I run from it. Into notifications. Into busyness. Into noise. But the cruel part? The noise doesn't save me. It only delays me. And the more I delay, the heavier it gets. By noon, the day already feels lost. Not because of what happened, but because of what didn't. I don't think people realize how violent it feels to keep losing yourself in small ways. To be defeated, not by catastrophe, but by the drip-drip of ordinary moments. A mug left untouched. A list left unchecked. A morning wasted again. And I wonder, how long can I keep repeating this cycle before the quiet wins? That night I sat at the table long after the dishes were done. The mug was still there, half full, gone cold again. I didn't drink it. I just stared, wondering why something so simple kept defeating me. And that's when a memory surfaced. A line I once read in high school, buried under years of noise. I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately. Thoreau. I didn't understand it then. It sounded like poetry for people who had too much time. But now, it felt like a quiet dare. Live deliberately. What would that even mean for me? Because my mornings weren't deliberate. They were automatic, phone, scroll, coffee, emails, shame, repeat. Not chosen, just inherited. A loop I never questioned, only endured. I realized something simple, almost embarrassing. I thought I was failing because I didn't add enough, not enough habits. Not enough structure, not enough motivation. But maybe the truth was the opposite. Maybe I was drowning not from lack, but from excess. Too many checklists, too many noises, too many versions of better. Thoreau didn't go to the woods to collect more routines. He went to subtract, to strip life down until only the necessary remained. And suddenly, I saw my mornings for what they were. Not beginnings, but performances. I wasn't waking up to live. I was waking up to prove. That thought cut deeper than I expected. Because if I'm honest, it's not just mornings I've lived that way. It's most of my life. I remembered scrolling one morning, eyes half shut and pausing at a post. Fake love, real feelings. It was about relationships. But it stung me in another way. Isn't that what I'd been doing with time? Pretending to fake routines, perform productivity while secretly carrying real feelings of exhaustion and fear? Calling it structure when it was just another way to hide. It was almost funny. All this time, I thought stillness was my enemy. But maybe it was the only thing that could save me. The mug sat in front of me, steam long gone, surface dark and flat. For the first time, I didn't see it as a failure. I saw it as a mirror. Empty, cold, ordinary, and brutally honest. It didn't judge me. It didn't shame me. It just showed me the truth. I wasn't living deliberately. I was drifting. And I thought, what if I let the mug teach me? What if, instead of filling it out of habit, I held it empty for a while? What if mornings didn't need 10 steps, but one pause, one breath, one honest moment before the world flooded in? I tested it the next day. Alarm rang. I didn't grab the phone. I didn't pour coffee immediately. I sat at the table with the empty mug, just holding it, letting the silence stretch longer than felt comfortable. My chest ached. My mind screamed. But for the first time, I wasn't running from it. I was listening, and in that silence, I understood something Thoreau might have meant. Living deliberately isn't about control. It's about choosing presence, even when it's uncomfortable, especially then. It wasn't dramatic, no sunrise revelation, just a quiet shift, like adjusting a lens that had been blurry for years. The mug wasn't just a mug anymore. It was a ritual of waiting, a reminder that not everything needs to be rushed, not everything needs to be filled. Some spaces are meant to stay open, but still, fear lingers. Because if I strip life down to silence, what will I find? What if there's nothing there? What if mornings only reveal emptiness and not the peace I've been searching for? That's the question that keeps me awake now. Not whether I can master the perfect morning routine, not whether I can win the day, but whether I can face the emptiness long enough to let it speak back. The next morning, I didn't want to try. That's the truth. My body wanted the old pattern, reach for the phone, drown in noise, pour coffee I'd never taste. But the mug from last night was still there on the counter, empty, staring at me, daring me. So I sat down. No phone, no coffee, just me and the silence. It was awkward at first, like being left on read by life itself. My chest tightened, my fingers twitched. Everything in me screamed, fill this moment, do something, prove something. But I didn't. Not yet. I just waited. And for the first time in months, I realized waiting is also an action. When the silence became too loud, I tried something small. Nothing polished. Nothing aesthetic enough for Instagram. Just raw, messy acts of staying with myself. I didn't even call them habits. They were more like anchors. The kind that stop you from drifting away. 1. Breath work. Not fancy, not guided, no app. Just inhaling until my shoulders rose, exhaling until they dropped. Reminding my body it belonged to me, not my inbox. Some breaths were shaky. Some felt pointless. But a few landed. And those few were enough to soften the panic buzzing in my chest. 2. Journaling. I didn't write wisdom. I didn't even finish sentences. I scribbled like I was emptying a drawer. Half thoughts, unfinished fears, jokes that weren't funny. It wasn't clarity, I found it was honesty. And somehow, letting paper hold what my chest couldn't felt like survival. 3. Mindful breakfast. It wasn't kale smoothies or Pinterest oatmeal. It was toast, one bite at a time. I forced myself to chew slower than I wanted to taste something real before the world asked for everything. And it struck me, maybe mornings aren't about fuel. Maybe they're about reminding yourself you're still human. None of these anchors were perfect. Some mornings I rushed them. Some mornings I skipped them entirely. But even on the days I failed, the mug was still there, waiting, empty until I chose otherwise. And that waiting became a symbol, not of failure, but of possibility. I started to see that living deliberately didn't mean orchestrating a perfect morning routine. It meant choosing presence, even when presence looked clumsy, even when presence looked boring. One morning, I noticed something strange. After 3 slow breaths, after scribbling one jagged line in the journal, I felt space. Not happiness, not clarity. Just a pause wide enough to breathe without rushing. And it felt almost holy. But here's the truth. Silence is fragile. The moment I left the kitchen, the noise of the world came back louder than ever. Emails, pings, news alerts. And the tug-of-war returned. Drift or anchor, rush or pause. Every day the choice had to be made again. And maybe that's the lesson I didn't want. Peace isn't permanent. It's something you defend. Something you return to, again and again, even when you don't feel like it. Especially then. I don't know how long this will last. I don't know if these anchors will hold through storms bigger than emails and alarms. But I know this. For the first time in years, I tasted my coffee while it was still warm. And it felt like a small miracle. But then came the harder thought, the one I almost pushed away. If I don't protect this quiet, if I let the world take it again, what else will it steal from me? If I don't stop, if I keep rushing, numbing, scrolling, I won't just lose mornings. I'll lose myself. That truth came to me slowly, not in a dramatic collapse, but in the way silence kept stacking on itself. Every time I skipped the pause, every time I let the mug go cold, every time I started the day with shame instead of presence. One morning last week, the alarm rang and I didn't move. I stared at the ceiling, chest tight, phone buzzing beside me. 10 minutes, then 20. I thought, this is what giving up feels like. Not in a movie scene, not with tears, but with blankness. A quiet refusal to even begin. When I finally stood, I caught my reflection in the hallway mirror. My body was moving, but my eyes looked absent, glazed over, like no one was home. I brushed my teeth, checked emails, packed a bag. From the outside, I looked efficient. Inside, I felt like a ghost wearing my own skin. And maybe that's the cruelest part. From the outside, no one knows. Friends see me productive. Coworkers see me reliable. They think I've figured mornings out. They don't see that I'm rehearsing, not living, that I'm playing the role of someone awake while my soul is still asleep. There was even a morning I caught myself multitasking to a point of absurdity. One hand holding a toothbrush, the other replying to an email, laptop balanced on the counter. I laughed, out loud, told myself, this is peak efficiency. But the laugh was bitter, because I knew the truth. I wasn't efficient. I was avoiding the silence that would remind me how tired I was. Silence doesn't just sit still. It grows teeth. The more you run from it, the sharper it becomes when it finally catches you. And lately, it's been catching me earlier and earlier in the day. By 10 a.m., I already feel used up, not from doing too much, but from doing nothing that matters. I keep thinking about the small boy I used to be, walking to school with a cereal bar in hand, humming songs I didn't know the words to, stopping to tie my shoes without caring about the time. That boy didn't measure his worth by the first hour of the day. He wasn't racing anyone. He wasn't behind. He just was. Where did he go? Maybe he disappeared the same way I'm disappearing now. Not all at once, but drip by drip, a mug at a time, an unopened journal at a time, a morning wasted again. And here's the part that terrifies me. Mornings are just practice runs for life. If I can't protect 1 hour of silence, how will I protect the years ahead? If I keep treating every day as a deficit, what will be left when the debt comes due? I picture myself years from now, still rushing, still numbing, still holding cold mugs and pretending they're enough. And the image shakes me, because it doesn't look like living. It looks like haunting. I joked to a friend once that I was in my villain era, done being the victim of mornings. We laughed. But when the call ended, the echo of my own voice haunted me. Because it wasn't funny. I wasn't becoming a villain. I was becoming invisible. And ghosts don't live. They haunt. I don't want to haunt my own life. I don't want to keep sipping bitterness and calling it survival. But I can feel it happening. Every day I don't defend the silence. Something slips away. Something small, almost unnoticeable, but sacred. It's not money, not success, not even love. It's the thread that makes me real. The memory of warm coffee, the ability to hum a song on the way to school, the quiet belief that I deserve to arrive in my own life. And if I don't change, if I keep letting mornings erase me, what will I lose that no one can give back? Tomorrow morning, I won't rush, I won't fix, I won't scroll. That's not discipline, that's mercy. Mercy for a soul that's been sprinting too long without remembering where it was running. I used to think mornings were about achievement. Whoever rose earliest, hustled hardest, stacked the most healthy habits, that was the person who would win the day. But after so many cold mugs, after so many mornings lost to shame, I see it differently now. Mornings aren't competitions, they're mirrors. And the reflection they show is simple. Will you meet yourself today, or will you run from yourself again? This morning I sat with the mug in my hands, empty. No coffee yet, just space. At first it felt absurd, almost embarrassing. Who sits with an empty mug? But the longer I stayed, the more I realized. The emptiness wasn't empty. It was waiting. Waiting for me to arrive. I breathed, in, out, shoulders rising, falling. My body softened a little. The panic loosened its grip. Not gone, but not choking me either. And in that pause, I understood. This was living deliberately. Not escaping to the woods, not building a perfect routine, just daring to sit at my own table and be here. I scribbled one sentence in my notebook. I want to stop vanishing. That's all, raw, crooked handwriting, but it felt like a doorway, because naming the wound is sometimes the first act of healing. Then I toasted bread, buttered it clumsily, and actually tasted it. The crunch, the salt, the warmth. It wasn't impressive. It wasn't Instagram-worthy, but it was mine. A breakfast eaten in presence, not in autopilot. And for a moment, I wasn't haunted. I was alive. The mug was still there, waiting. This time I filled it slowly. Steam curled upward, fragile, tender. I held it in both hands and thought, how many years have I let this warmth slip away? How many mornings did I rush past this simple gift? And then came the whisper. Not from me, but from somewhere older. Maybe the wind, maybe time itself. You think silence will erase you, but silence is where you begin again. The words weren't audible, but they landed, like a presence sitting across the table, steady, patient, reminding me. I don't need to conquer mornings, I just need to meet them. I thought about Thoreau again. Live deliberately. I used to think that meant chasing the extraordinary, but now I think it means choosing the ordinary with care, choosing the mug, choosing the breath, choosing to belong to yourself before you belong to the world. And here's the gift I didn't expect. Mornings aren't just time, they're memory. They hold the younger me who hummed songs on the way to school. They hold the tired me who let too many coffees go cold. They hold the future me who longs for quiet. All of them are here, waiting at the same table, inside the same silence. I don't know how long I can protect this. I don't know if tomorrow I'll slip again, scroll too soon, pour and forget. But I know this: the mug will still be there, patient, honest, empty until I decide to fill it. And maybe that's the point. Healing isn't about never slipping. It's about knowing there's always a place to return. So tomorrow morning, I'll sit again, breathe again, taste again, not perfectly, not forever, just for today. Because maybe the gift of mornings isn't what they give me, it's what they let me give back to myself. Presence, patience, a chance to start gently. And maybe that's enough. The mug will still be waiting not to be filled, but to remind me I'm still here,